are driven by the finer things. I see more than materials and wealth. What have you got to give to me? What I don't already give myself. You are driven by the...
Sydney here, welcome to a brand new episode of Illuminated Disclaimer. As you can see, I felt like I needed to... Yeah, that's better, ain't it right? What was I saying? Sydney here, hope you're finding new and refreshing ways to illuminate your own path. Now, as you can see, I felt really comfortable today, so I just wanted to just wear something that was a bit warm, but very, very open. So you're going to see a lot more episodes of me just being comfortable and just having my bed hair and wearing my bed clothes. So yeah, I hope you're doing very well today. This is the second episode of Words of Appreciation with your host Sydney. And I just wanted to talk about what words of appreciation means to me. Now, a few years ago, about 5 years ago, I hit my lowest point in my life. It was really, really low, and it was funny because, well, it wasn't really funny at the time, but it was just so strange how I just started having all these thoughts out the blue. Like, I was perfectly fine, I was managing things, and I just started having these intrusive thoughts. And these intrusive thoughts turned into intrusive fantasies. And these intrusive fantasies turned into intrusive habits. And what I realized was, when you really truly put your mind on something, it happens, it manifests itself. This is probably why I believe in the law of attraction so much, because when I was at my lowest point, worse and worse things were happening to me, and I didn't really realize what I was doing back then, but it just basically got to a point where my intrusive thoughts won, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to actually do exactly what my intrusive thoughts are telling me. And I just want to share this now because I'm sure that if you're watching this, you're probably feeling the same ways as well. And what I found was that my negative feelings, not only about myself, but about the world around me, was actually making my inner world even worse. I saw people there looking at me, but I only saw hatred in their eyes. You know, I saw the sun in the sky, but the sun was really dark and red. I looked at the butterflies, and before butterflies, oh, they'll be beautiful, you know. I'm not really a fan of butterflies like that, but they're beautiful. I appreciate a butterfly, but to me, a butterfly was just cold and grey and lifeless, and it was just reflecting everything that was going from within. And I just want to say that one thing that really helped me was just finding a purpose, finding something to do, finding ways to incentivize myself, because I was beating myself up unfairly. I had to break down everything I was feeling just so I could understand what happened and how it went so wrong so fast. And I started breaking down things. I realized that I'm complex. I've got billions or even trillions of cells within me, and in order to truly understand myself, I need to ensure that I look at every little thing that I went through and just do introspection. Like, why do I think like this? Why am I like that? Why am I negative all the time? Why am I lying to people? And although I realized that a lot of these weren't truly mine, you know, like, for example, it could have been someone I had in childhood, it could have been family, it could have been friends, it could have been growing up in primary school that helped me think these thoughts. I realized that if I hold on to these people who did me wrong and have this form of resentment, then I'm losing. Because to me, it's a form of blame, and blame is a low vibrational frequency to have. And that's what I realized. A lot of the things I went through, I blamed other people. I couldn't even blame myself. And even if I wasn't, you know, directly involved, but I still got, you know, involved with it, I still realized that if I do point the finger at someone else, then that's going to come back to bite me. And what I learned was acceptance. Acceptance that when I was going through that path, that I wasn't this perfect person who was making sure that everybody was happy. I was selfish and I was thinking about myself. Sometimes I was mean, I was evil, I was angry. You might see me as this lovely, bubbly guy who's just running around and slapping you with my dreads. But I was never like that. I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, back then, yeah, I just had so much going on and I just didn't know how to deal with it, and I'll just take it on other people and there was no repercussions. I didn't feel like there were any repercussions. And even though a lot of these things didn't directly involve me, I still took it on like it did, and I realized that I just had this heaviness on myself, constant heaviness. And how would I numb the pain? Vices, drinking, for example, smoking. And although they did help temporarily, it just made things worse because I'll go more in a downward spiral. You see, alcohol is a depressant. So although it gives you that high, it can sometimes knock you lower than you were feeling before. So it can make you worse and worse. And not only with these things as well, they can aid you, they can give you deformities, they can give you dis-ease, give you illnesses. And it was only until I started trying these tips which helped me a lot. Now I'm just going to talk about them very briefly, but don't worry, in more words of appreciation, I will share much more and I'll give you more things that I have done to help me. First thing I did was, as I said earlier, identifies. Like, say to myself, I'm good enough. If I help someone, then it will help me see things from another point of view. And that makes me think that I am worthy and I get some gratification from that. I feel some healing from that. In the past, I would have just been like, I help people, wherever. But I wanted to help people, but just intently. I realized that a lot of people are suffering alongside me, but from what I see, generally, a lot of people don't really talk about their mental health. So I wanted to be the person who goes out there, puts things out, and when people come to me and say thank you, that really meant a lot to me. That's when I started to realize that, wow, maybe this is my calling in life. This makes me feel good. It makes me really feel good. And it's just the fact of just going somewhere like a public space and just saying, look, like, I'm here for you, like, if you want to talk. Even that act is brilliant. And when you see people looking at you and smiling back, it does mean a lot. And I'll say, if you're going through something, just say, look, I'm going through something. If you're going through something, let's just talk and maybe grab a coffee. And you'll be surprised of how much people really take warmly to that. Secondly, I would say just have a journal. Like, before I used to run away from my emotions, I used to run. And even to this day, I'm still having issues regulating certain emotions and showing other emotions. And what I realized is, if I write these down, or at least hold on to these emotions, and then I just speak about it to myself openly and clearly, or even write this down in a journal, it does really have really good impacts for me. For example, sometimes I feel sad. I don't know why I feel sad, but I feel sad. And before I'd just be like, that was weird. Okay, don't know why I felt sad. But now I actually talk to myself and say, Sydney, why did you feel sad? Is there a specific reason? Was there anything you experienced? Was it something you watched? Something you listened to? And I just kind of go through things. And sometimes I just think to myself, maybe I'm not maybe I'm not worthy enough. And this puts me onto my third thing I want to share with you before the end of this episode, and that is challenging your thoughts and beliefs. I used to say to myself that I didn't feel that I was worthy enough, but where did this come from? Maybe I didn't feel confident. Maybe I saw there was people stronger, bigger, more beautiful than me, comparing myself to others. And when you compare yourself to others, you really do risk losing the value of who you are as a person. All of us are born on this earth to obtain a special goal. All of us are brought onto this earth to make sure that we make the world a better place before we leave. And all of us are brought onto this earth to realize that as individuals, we are part of the beauty, which is Gaia. And You are here for a reason, and we don't really explore that if we're comparing ourselves to other people. We might look at a footballer and say, you know what, I want to be a footballer. But if we don't listen to our heart, sometimes we miss out on our true calling. What truly makes you happy? And if you don't know, I strongly suggest writing on a piece of paper what makes you happy. Sticking it on your wall and just looking at it constantly every day. Once those words get implanted into your mind, yeah, eventually you'll come to a point, and I guarantee this, where you'll start actually talking to people and they tell you something about yourself. For example, someone might come up to you and say, you look creative, you look like a dancer. And it happened to me all the time. When I was a bus driver, when I was working in finance, people said, you're a creative, you're a creative, you're a creative. I'm like, I don't do anything creative. I mean, back then I had a podcast, but I didn't think that was being creative. That was just me just speaking. And now I'm doing creative stuff all the time. I've honestly literally just changed my career. And this is it. I feel like the universe sends angels and synchronicities, and a lot of these times it's through other people's just words. So being uber present, speaking to people, and just making sure that although you don't know what you truly want to do, you know that you want to change and become the person that you want to become, who you're destined to become. So use this time, think about what you truly want, and slowly take it from there, even if it's not about making money. The thing is, if you work a dead-end job, not making enough money, not being happy with yourself, your manager's calling you and just saying blah blah blah, find that little speck of light and work towards making that speck of light bigger. If you like drawing, you draw, you make a portfolio, you start putting your stuff on YouTube, and then when there's going to be chances where you go to art galleries and you can submit your work in these competitions, you have all this backlog of work. It's like the lottery. You have one piece of art, that's cool, but if you have 10 pieces of art, that's 10 times more likely that you're going to win something. And you slowly build up your craft. I would even say for me, a good outlet was YouTube. Doing these videos. I know if I do one video, that's cool. But if I do 100 videos, that's my goal, 100 videos by the end of the year. I hit that, then I know that I've unlocked the next chapter for me. And the thing is, because of that, and because I kept on looking at it constantly, I'm like, wow, I get to 100, I think I'm so passionate, I've got so much energy for this, I'm probably going to do 200, I'm probably going to do 300. If I do 300 videos, that's 300 times more chance that I will be successful in my own right. But I know I'm not doing this to get paid now. In the future, I may get paid, but for now, I'm like, I've got so much energy to give. And usually, if I'm not doing this, I just go for a long walk and just talk everything out. And I realize that I'm spending so much good conversations with myself, and it just goes into the ether. And now I'm here sharing with you. This is something I would have had in a conversation with myself, and I probably will tonight when I go for my walk. But those are just 3 brief things that I want to talk about. And as you can see, I just feel energetic. I feel like I could talk about this for longer. But I want to save this for later episodes. And with words of appreciation, I really will appreciate if you write comments about how you're feeling, what you're going through, or even give me topics and hints to talk about in the next episode, because that'll be very important. Whether you have questions, whether you want tips and hints, or maybe you want advice to get your own YouTube channel. That's what I'm here for. So please subscribe. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment to your heart's content, and I'll get back to you. I'm not a good one looking at my messages, but I will get back to you. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your focus. And as always, please keep on finding light in your path.